Hi, this is Jason Hiles, Dean of the College of Theology. We're coming to you today from my office in the College of Theology. I'm going to be talking about doubt, and we've talked about that at a couple other points in some of these presentations. This is a particularly unique passage I'll be sharing with you from Matthew chapter 8. I love this passage because this shines the light right on who Christ is with respect to issues of doubt. When we have doubt, when we become anxious, when we're concerned about the circumstances around us, very often this reveals where we are in relation to God. And in this particular passage, Jesus wants us to come to terms with where we are in relation to Him in particular. So let me read this, beginning in verse 23. It says, "When He," Jesus, that is, got into the boat, His disciples followed Him. So they're on a lake, on a sea, the Sea of Galilee. And it says, "Behold, there arose a great storm on the sea, so that the boat was being swamped by the waves. But Jesus was asleep. And they," that is His disciples, "went and woke Him, saying, 'Save us, Lord, we are perishing.' And He said to them, 'Why are you afraid, O you of little faith?' Then He rose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. And the men marveled, saying, 'What sort of man is this, that even winds and sea obey Him?'" Now, what's fascinating about this is that the disciples find themselves in what they take to be a life-threatening situation. They've been fishermen, many of them, for their entire lives, and so they're familiar with the sea. They know what happens when a storm hits the sea, but in this situation, things spiral out of control for them very quickly, and they become afraid. You may have experienced something like that in your own life, where circumstances threaten to overwhelm you, and the anxiety builds to the point where you're so threatened, you're so concerned, you don't know what to do. And so they wake Jesus up. It's interesting, He's actually asleep through this. He's not concerned at all, and it seems that perhaps He's ignoring the peril. He doesn't care about them. Not really what's going on at all. In fact, He uses this as an opportunity to impress on them a very important lesson. They say, "Lord, help us. We're perishing. Don't you care?" And He says to them, "Why are you afraid? You have very little faith." Fascinating response. Their anxiety reveals a heart issue. They are doubting. They do not trust. But even more importantly, He demonstrates to them why they should trust and who they should trust in. He speaks to the waves. He speaks to the wind. And He says, "Be still." He calms everything down with a few words. This bears echoes of what happened in creation when God began to speak so powerfully that He called the universe into existence out of nothing. He spoke, said, "Let there be light," and the elements obeyed. Jesus now has entered into creation, the Creator walking amongst us, and when the disciples are afraid, Jesus speaks again to His creation and He commands it. So often the anxiety, the doubt that we experience is coming from the fact that we feel as though the world around us is out of our control. But Jesus recognizes that the world is never outside of His control. And simply revealing a bit of who He is intended to calm those who are following Him, those who have placed their faith in Him.